Well, I said I was going to do an 80s sort of thing, and, well, here we are. What you're seeing is probably, I think, the best that came out of the 80s.
Yeah. Or at least the best that we can get our hands on at the moment.
Well, this is pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was some stuff that were in there but didn't stick out.
Yeah. And then, obviously, you've got, your cult classics and oddball stuff like that. But for the most part, this really...
Well, we're going to take you through this. We're going to take you through the 80s right here, starting with Alien.
Yeah. James Cameron. No, wait. Cameron did the sequel. I apologize.
Well, we're going to talk about that one anyway. This was Ridley Scott.
Yeah. Ridley Scott. He essentially took a slasher film
and merged it with A Space Odyssey.
Yep. And as a result, you got a classic sci-fi / horror film.
In the sense of a haunted house.
Yeah. And you've got that wonderful feeling of isolation. You've got survivors being picked off one by one. And you have a lone survivor at the end.
Yeah.
Overall, the pacing is well done. The atmosphere works out perfectly. There's a bit of humor in there to, balance out the tension, only to turn around and throw you right back in. And
a lot of cheap jump scares too.
Oh yeah. But overall, you've got a really good.
I actually think it made us appreciate. I think it was before the sci-fi movies were not really well taken seriously.
Yeah, they were very campy, very tongue-in-cheek.
It was very hard to mix horror with sci-fi.
Right, and not come out with a giant monster.
Well, yes. And then we jump ahead. As far as I'm aware, not really anything big came out of 1980. That I can remember at this point.
There were some things, but
yeah. Comes along John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell, a team that would make a whole lot of films.
Oh yeah.
And were great. They first worked on the Elvis movie, TV movie.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. That was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
And Escape from New York really jump-started Kurt Russell's career.
Yeah.
It really brought him out of the Disney funk.
Yeah. Yeah. Turned him into a more serious actor.
Because he can actually act. But Escape from New York is sort of a cult classic now.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people got it back then.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Big Trouble in Little China. No one really got the humor until a little bit after.
Yeah.
Not to mention, not too many people saw it because they say it was advertised, but it was advertised in a little snippet in a newspaper.
Yeah. And heck, there's another one, Big Trouble in Little China. That predated Mortal Kombat, and at the same time was one that was done really well, and now a lot of people are able to get the humor of it. But
exactly. And then for a while, not a lot happened. From 82 to like 84, I don't remember much. We had Terminator.
Yeah.
Which was James Cameron's first film he worked on.
Yeah, his first
major film he wanted to work on.
Yeah.
And that kind of changed how we see a lot of thriller sci-fis.
Oh, yeah.
And action sci-fis a little bit.
Yeah, the first Terminator, a lot of people look at Terminator and they automatically think of Schwarzenegger as the hero, and that's,
And he's a villain in this.
Yeah, he's a villain in it.
Hey,
And
that orange light behind you, could you just a little bit so it shines over here? And it looks a little better.
all right.
Lighting sucks in here.
But anyway, yeah, with that one you had, once again, you had film noir, you had science fiction, you had...
I think it really set the tone of what the 80s was.
Yeah, you also had a bit of slasher genre in there. Granted, it was slashing as in,
Gunshot.
yeah. But hey, there's enough of a body count in there to where it counts.
Mm-hmm. And I think special effects really benefited from that.
Oh, yeah.
Which nowadays you can tell what it is, but back then...
Yeah. Although, and here's the thing about a lot of 80s movies, just because you can tell something's an effect even now, that doesn't really seem to take away from it all that much.
No.
Even now, it's still rather...
Yeah. The 80s was a very crucial time for a lot of actors. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Kurt Russell, Stallone,
Yeah,
with his Rambo trilogy.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger really got a start here, and I mean they're still acting today, and they're incredible.
Yeah.
Actually, Kurt Russell's got a movie coming out in a couple of months called The Art of the Steal. Then the story's kind of overdone a little bit,
Yeah.
where he's a thief, he's an ex-thief, now he's a daredevil. And his friend says, "We got a big job if you want to help. You're the best around, or whatever."
Yeah.
But,
All that typical spiel.
And speaking of Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport,
Yeah.
his first real film. A lot of people, consider it his start.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
And it really showed off what he could do.
Yeah, not a whole lot of people realize, that technically it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
And,
That's what makes it.
I just got
makes it
through
better.
seeing it the other night with you, and it had been the first time I'd seen it in a while, and yeah, I'd forgotten exactly how good it actually is.
Yeah. Okay, Kitty one's gone. But there were a lot of other stuff in the 80s that started to come out, like books.
Yeah.
Books being made in the movies, like Conan.
Yeah. Conan, that was an interesting one because it not only turned Schwarzenegger into a major action hero, along with others like Commando and things like that, but
well, I think Commando set his standard.
Yeah.
What you're gonna get out of Arnold.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, Conan not only made him an action hero, it spawned a sequel. It spawned. But then again, I've noticed that's how it is with a lot of 80s.
Well, it also spawned a sort of third movie, Red Sonja.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's written by the same guy, and Arnold's in it.
Yeah.
And it's set in the same universe as Conan. So.
Yeah. And then, of course, you've also got the Conan the Adventurer cartoon.
Oh, my God. There was a Rambo cartoon.
Yeah, I know. There was a RoboCop cartoon.
Yeah,
if they could have gotten away with it, they probably would have made a cartoon out of Terminator.
Then they didn't. We got Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Ugh.
Yeah, let's not speak of that. Oh, we also got Predator.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to get that out, but you all know what it is.
Yeah, you got Predator. Another well-known one that was marginally popular then and has gained more of a cult following now is Reanimator. There's another one, Reanimator. That one has garnered a cult following over the years because, well, you look at the effects they did back then and you go, wow, I really didn't expect that scene to be in this movie.
Yeah, And, well, there was also a lot... I think horror also benefited in the 80s as well.
Oh, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. What year did Halloween come out?
Halloween came out a year before Friday the 13th, so it came out technically in the 70s.
79?
I think it was either 79 or 78.
Close enough.
I'd have to double check, but...
Well, I think the 70s were really transitioning through the media.
Yeah.
And, I think horror really benefited in the 80s as opposed to the kaiju genre.
Oh, yeah. When it comes to horror, and especially 80s horror, you've got a little bit of everything. You've got slashers, you've got, Killer Dolls, the Child's Play series, and others. You've got Chopping Mall with killer robots. You've got
zombies. I want to see that.
Oh, that's a fun one. You've just got a whole plethora of different creatures and humans. They took horror movies and made them what they once were, which was fun.
I think it has to do with a lot of the sleaze that was going on in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, some of it did.
From the sleaze came crap, and from crap came gold.
Yeah.
There were no bad ideas back in the 80s.
Oh, there were, but you have to dig real deep.
I know, I'm just saying. You had to dig real deep in the shit to find bad turds, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
The corn. But, I think people still kind of talk about these movies today. I mean, we got Terminator 5 coming out, and there's talk of Rambo making a fifth. There's a Stallone thinking about making a Rambo 5.
Yeah.
There was talk of a remake of Escape from New York with Jason Statham. That could work.
Yeah.
It probably, if it was directed DVD.
Yeah,
maybe.
It would work. And of course, you've got
another King Conan.
Yeah. Another Conan movie coming out. You've got the RoboCop reimagining.
Reboot Cop or a reimagining. Sorry.
Yeah. Reimagining, reboot.
Yeah.
Let's see now. We've also got.
There's talk of another Predator movie because Predators made more money than Predator 1 and 2 combined. Pretty weird, huh?
Yeah, something that feels a lot like a remake of the first Predator movie.
Well,
somehow
a lot of people in this universe, Predator 2 doesn't count. What they want to do is give Predator the Aliens treatment. Have it basically the same movie, but add a little bit more action.
Yeah.
And they did that. They accomplished it, and it isn't stale. I'll say that.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
It really brings it back to the 80s formula.
Yeah. Let's see now.
We also got to talk about the two cartoons that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
Thundercats.
Yeah, you got
Thundercats.
Yeah, you had a little bit of everything. You had Thundercats.
And My Little Pony.
Yeah, the original My Little Pony. You had
Transformers.
Yeah,
I think GoBots was also there too.
I was going to say, let's not forget the knockoffs. GoBots.
I swear there was like an MLP knockoff somewhere.
Probably.
There probably was.
Jason the Wheel Warriors, Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, He-Man.
Yeah.
The He-Man movie too.
Yeah. Okay, wait a minute. I just remembered one other key movie from, it was in the 80s when it was made. The Dark Crystal.
Yeah, a lot of Muppets were in the 80s too.
Yeah. But it was
I love the Muppet Show.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. You had the Dark Crystal. The two biggest ones that come to my mind are the Dark Crystal and the Never-Ending Story.
What about Labyrinth?
And Labyrinth.
There were a lot of puppetry in the 80s too.
Yeah, and the thing is, yes, we recognize that they were puppets, but the
They're so
stories all were,
lively.
yeah, the stories all were done so well that you actually, cared about them and stuff like that, and it's like, wow, this is really good. And then, unfortunately, sometimes nowadays they go downhill, sometimes they go up.
Yeah, don't forget Lethal Weapon and the Die Hard series.
Of course not. I mean, how can I forget,
Too old for this shit.
yeah, too old for this shit. And, the unsung best Christmas movie ever.
Yeah. Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't cuss on this show.
You just said shit. I think we can...
Well, we can't say the F word. That's where I draw the line.
Oh, okay, fine.
That's where I draw the line. And the C word, but we're...
Yeah.
And we also can't forget Planet of the Apes, Highlander.
Yeah.
Oh, and Overboard.
Oh,
That's probably one of the best comedies of the 80s. Comedy, just plain comedy.
Yeah. Overboard and Splash. Splash was also an 80s.
Yeah. Ghostbusters is its own genre.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is the comedy.
That's combining sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and comedy.
Yeah. Proof that you can throw 4 different genres into a blender and come out with something that's
good.
fantastic.
There's a couple of good TV shows in the 80s. Married with Children.
Yeah. Roseanne was just getting its start, I believe. I could be wrong on that one.
Yeah.
But let's see now. You had Married with Children. You had...
I think Speed Racer was also starting in 1979 as well.
oh, yeah.
I think so, because my dad watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
I think, maybe. So I guess Ultraman was also coming out, too, in America.
Yeah.
There was also Spectre Man and Rainbow Man. Don't ask me all about that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of sad that a lot of these movies had horrible sequels. Or sequels that weren't as good.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the 3 other Bloodsport movies.
Yeah, that didn't have a Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
Yeah. There was, and not to mention the Conan remake, which is okay, but
Yeah.
it's
It's okay, just don't put it in the same context as the other movies.
yeah.
Terminator had its 3rd film that didn't have James Cameron anywhere near it.
It wasn't as good.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't groundbreaking as
Right.
Terminator 2 was.
RoboCop had RoboCop 2 and 3, which,
Are okay sequels.
they're okay just to sit back and rot your brain.
Well, it's a good trilogy. I think it's an okay trilogy.
Yeah, if the problem is if you try to compare the sequels to the first one.
Well, it's because it has PVC, Paul Verhoeven curse. Each sequel gets progressively worse.
Oh,
Like-
wait, that reminds me of another movie that came out in the 80s. The Evil Dead.
That's a cult classic.
Oh,
Bruce Campbell
yeah,
movie.
Bruce Campbell first started up. And then essentially he did a somewhat sequel, somewhat reboot in Evil Dead 2, which took all the stuff about Evil Dead and then threw in the comedy and let Bruce Campbell be Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
And
Army
really
of Darkness
took off.
just went full on.
Yeah, Army of Darkness is full on, hey, the Three Stooges directed this sucker and let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm. We also can't forget the little things like Gremlins.
Right.
And their knockoffs, the Critters.
Yeah,
And their 4 movies.
The Critters, the Ghoulies, Troll.
Yeah, there was nothing too small that they couldn't get away with in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, heck, if I remember correctly, wasn't the first Highlander done in the 80s as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 2 came out like 2 years afterwards. And that's unbelievably bad. I don't know how Michael Ironside got through the movie without laughing. And he's a spectacular actor.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, you've got other little movies that came out in the 80s, the original Superman movies.
You know, I like those better than the Man of Steel. I'm going to say that right now because it felt like a comic book.
Yep,
It had a good 60